first uniform, their first number, their first teammate, their first goal, their first coach. We take great care in making sure their first isn't their last. We're so much more than a soccer class. Come play with us today at kickstarttoddlersoccer.com.
Our mission is to help players take their game to the next level and reach their potential. We help players develop fundamental technical skills such as ball control in tight spaces, dribbling at speed and changing direction, using a variety of 1v1 skills, receiving and finishing from different situations such as volleys, headers, one touch, and off the dribble, with and without pressure. In addition, we help players increase their speed of play, dominate with their off-the-ball movement, awareness of space, defenders, and teammates. We offer a variety of services such as one-on-ones, small groups, as well as large groups and team sessions. We have an experienced coaching staff that is professional, friendly, patient, while still holding players to high standards and holding them accountable. Over the past 3 years, we've built one of the best soccer-specific training facilities in the country. We've also developed one of the most detail-oriented training programs to help out players. No matter what level you're at as a player, I'm confident we can help you get better. For more information, visit our website, evolutionperformancetraining.com, or text or call 248-818-3943.
Granite City Food and Brewery has 2 Michigan locations in Troy and Northville. Serves made-from-scratch food, brews in-house beer, and even has brunch every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. To learn more about their daily specials or to book a private party, visit gcfb.com. Make sure you head over to Granite City in Northville at the corner of 7 Mile and Haggerty, or the Troy location at 16 Mile and I-75. Now Worrell has a good cutback from him. He'll fire one, and that's going to go in!
We like to do it before we go out on the weekend.
We do.
We do it every week.
Whether we need to or not.
We did it today.
It was really dirty.
My parents do it every day.
Hey, kiddo!
Do it every day with the Unlimited Club only at Jack's Car Wash. Protect your car from the hot summer sun, dust, dirt, and contaminants all summer long with the Jack's Unlimited Club.
Join today, starting at just $24.99 a month.
Are you looking to grow here in 2023? Let the Michigan Soccer Network help you and your restaurant fill more seats. Help you and your law firm get new clients. Help you and your dental practice find more patients. Find more roofing customers for this upcoming summer. And to help you and your medical practice find new patients. To learn more or get started, visit MichiganSoccerNetwork.com.
I'm a husband. I'm a father.
I'm a sister.
I'm a son. I'm a brother.
I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. I'm a referee.
I'm a referee.
I am a referee.
I'm a referee.
Don't just burn calories, torch those little suckers. Basecamp Fitness Troy, opening up this March, will help you get maximum results in half the time. Our intensity intervals of cardio and strength training will supercharge your calorie burn, all in just 35 minutes. Make sure to lock in our founders rate and claim your 2-week risk-free trial by scanning the QR code on your screen. Basecamp Fitness Troy, located at 443 East Big Beaver Road in Troy, Michigan.
Thank you for stopping by the Michigan Soccer Network. To not miss out on any of the action, all you have to do is simply hit the subscribe button, and that way you're notified every time we bring new content or go live. Thanks for stopping by.
I watch soccer on the Michigan Soccer Network.
I watch soccer on Michigan Soccer Network.
لا تنسون تتابعونا على Michigan Soccer Network.
I watch soccer on Michigan Soccer Network.
I like to watch soccer on Michigan Soccer Network.
I watch soccer on Michigan Soccer Network.
Me gusta mirar fútbol en Michigan Soccer Network.
I watch soccer on Michigan Soccer Network.
I love watching soccer on the Michigan Soccer Network.
Back to Vitriol. He'll take a shot, and he'll bear it! And then he'll fire it from Billows, and it'll go in! Now Worrell has a good cutback from him. He'll fire one, and that's going to go in! Oh, and both goals so far. He'll fire one, and that's a wonderful save opportunity. That's missed. Oh, it's Stone! In the... He'll fire one now from distance, and that is in! What a strike by Ben Maher!
Well, good morning, and welcome here into our Premier Sports Center studio. It's live. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's the morning overlap here with Steve and John. I'm John. You're Steve. Steve, you're back. Kevin was here on Tuesday. We talked a little soccer training, how much is too much. And today we've got a good one. Why are we losing soccer referees?
Yeah, a dive into all the variables that, affect where our referee numbers are today and what we can maybe do to try to get those numbers back up.
So why are we losing soccer referees? Why are they walking away? Bad behavior drove a referee shortage, but COVID made it worse. We'll talk about that this morning here on the show. Before we hop into our main topic here today, though, let's get into a little bit of our housekeeping. If your first time stopping by here, we're live right now on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. You can watch us basically anywhere now. All we ask is that you go ahead and hit a like, hit a subscribe, follow, all the above. And the cool thing right now is I want to get this out of the way right now because this I think is extremely important. We are giving away right now a one-night stay opening weekend on Mackinac Island. That's right, the Windermere Hotel, Mackinac Island. All you have to do to enter is you must be 18. You have to subscribe to MSN, follow us on all social media, the ones that you're a part of, and fill out the form on our MSN website at MichiganSoccerNetwork.com. It's right on the homepage. You can't miss it. So enter, and you'll have a chance to win a one-night stay opening weekend at the historic Windermere Hotel on Mackinac Island. So really, really, really cool. So, Steve, a lot going on in the soccer world here the last couple of days. U.S. soccer, it continues to amaze me. In the amount of drama that is going on. I mean, it's almost like the Kardashians are running this whole thing.
Well, people, the public loves drama, and they love a good back and forth story of a he said, she said, and accusations that, it's been a whirlwind. I think, when some of the emails and things and texts have been finally released and or leaked, I should say, in ways that in what was being said. I think we've said this from the get-go. The behavior from the Reyna family just seems to be completely out of line and unnecessary. Even if maybe some of their claims may, to some people, have some validity to it. As far as maybe why their son wasn't playing and that he should have been, but. The way they went about it, the way that their messages were handled, even, talking about referees and, blasting that there was a match in which I believe there was a female referee reffing one of the games. And Claudio Reyna obviously not too thrilled with how that was handled. So, there's a lot to unpack with that, probably not for today's show, but in general, just really just poor from all angles. I'm not sure that Greg Berhalter is completely free of any, wrongdoing or, as far as how he handled certain things. But obviously the player family, obviously stepping over lines that definitely shouldn't have been stepped over, and that's disappointing.
Well, it's going to lead us into our topic today about, because we've talked about parents a little bit, obviously, on this show. And as we're talking about why referees are leaving the game, part of that conversation is going to have to be in regards to parents and spectators and things like that. So I want to remind everybody, if you want to be part of this conversation, you can call in to us today. As my phone just connected into the system here, but you can call in. All you got to do is call 248-617-7715, and that'll get you access into our, into our studio. We'll ask that you keep it clean, and for the most part, right? We want to be clean. But either way, you can call in to our show here at 248-617-7715. So let's get into this a little bit here. As part of my research for this, looking at this, I don't think people really understand the complexity of this situation and what's gone on here over the last number of years in regards to the referee shortage. I don't know what the percentage was normally when it came to, when a brand new referee kind of gets into it and then they end up leaving, what the normal the transition was from, or they call it a turnover, right? Where your new one comes in, then they leave. What's the average? Is it 1 year? Is it 3 years? Is it 5? I don't know what it was prior to COVID and prior to the last maybe 10 years. But it's not good. It's not good. From 2018 to 2021, an estimated 50,000 high school referees disappeared, gone, do not participate in the game anymore. Now, that's not soccer referees. That's referees as a whole, okay, across the high school game. That's a lot of referees. 50,000 is a lot. And roughly 20% of the overall base of referees across the country gone. So in the high school game, from all levels, there's a lot of referees that are needed for those games.
Yeah, especially with the way that the games are set up in various sports, as far as sometimes referees, doing multiple games, whether it's a JV and a contest and a varsity contest in the same day. There's situations, especially in soccer, where we'll do a freshman JV varsity triple header on one night. Or there's referees that go from a 4 o'clock game here and then go to a 7 o'clock somewhere else, whether it be a freshman to varsity or a varsity to varsity. So there is that as well. So the amount of coverage that referees are doing now, especially with that shortage, is insane. And yeah, I think, and it goes across, all sports,
excuse me,
whether it be a doubleheader basketball game and those types of events as well. Obviously football is much more of a singular event, but there is the freshman games on the Wednesday or Thursday night, and then the JV matches and things like that as well. So, losing 50,000 officials is no laughing order, and it's not a good look. And there's a lot of reasons why. I mean, we're always going to lose people due to age, due to interest, due to work commitments. A lot of people, this is a side job that you're just trying to do a little bit to help here and there. There's a very few out there that are doing it full time or doing it a lot. So losing those people, because just as even if that number was 10,000 people, that's still a lot of games that aren't being covered in all sports. So that number, it's not good to see. I know here in the state, John, we've talked about it before. There was well over 5,000 some odd officials, all close to 7,000 some officials before really going into the COVID year. And then, now we're, right near 3,000 or, somewhere in that area right now. And that's a huge hit to, soccer specifically here in this state. So it's something that, we really have to kind of get down to the root of what those problems are and what's forcing people out, so that maybe there can be some good change in encouraging recruitment to get new officials back.
Yeah, I agree. And when we talk about the referee shortage and we talk about the circumstances behind referees walking away from the game, the stat that I came across here, which is 70% of referees quit within the first 3 years of starting. That's a big number. And there might be a number of reasons. Let's put this in perspective, right? Most of your referees, I'm not saying all, most referees probably get started in their early teens, right? 13, 14, right? They love soccer. They play soccer. They'll make some money doing this. I'm not saying that you don't have parents and other older referees kind of coming into it as well, but I think a good chunk of them coming in at a younger age. And because of that, they do it for a couple of years. They get through high school, and then they go to college. So I think a lot of this transition, this turnover is referees leaving, in that first 3 years is because they're younger. They go off to high school or college, and then maybe they come back. I don't know. I'm curious to know if there's a tracker that tracks a referee who started off, walked away at 17 or 18, then comes back at 26. I bet
it's probably few and far between. It does happen. It's there. But I'm sure the numbers aren't that high, especially with the declining numbers. But yeah, definitely we see it. I think we see it on an individual basis. I can speak on a handful of occasions I've seen people do it. But you're right, and I think that some of it is circumstance where these kids that are starting as those young referees end up in other areas and doing other things, and that's tough because. But at the same time, those that do stick it out or maybe start at a later age, like myself, I didn't start refereeing until I was 18.
Okay.
Was there times in that first 3 years that I would have thought about like just walking away? Oh, yeah, definitely, for sure. For me, quickly, moving up the ranks and doing certain games, I quickly saw that there was going to be some opportunities to make some good money doing certain games. And so it became... it's worth it because you're getting compensated for it on that end. But yeah, I mean, there's plenty of times where there's certain aspects of things that happen on the field. There's certain interactions that you have that make you, just like, why am I doing this anymore?
And if I remember when I became an official, and I became an official at the earliest part that you could become it. All right. And back then, I think I've talked about this before on the show. Back then, you went through, like, I want to say it was like an 8-week, like every Tuesday, I was going to Troy Athens High School up in the library, and I did my course. And it was comprehensive. And I'm not saying it's not comprehensive now. It's easier now to get information to potential referees, and especially because of the way the world is and how busy people are and how parents are. Everyone's everywhere. You can do it now on a computer. And then if there's locations that you can go and get supplemental training throughout the course of any given season, right? If you want to upgrade or things like that, there's certain things that you have to do to get more access to more and more games. But if I look at this report, and this report here, this is from Officially Human, an organization that promotes the respectful treatment of referees. It conducted a survey of 19,000 officials back in 2019. It asked what their top reason for quitting would be, and 60% said verbal abuse from parents and fans. Okay? Now, a lot of referees in their first year quit because the parents, coaches, and the players, they're so hateful and such awful things, and no one would want to be involved in that for $40. Right, so you think about that. Okay, so 60% of referees are saying it's because of the verbal abuse, right? And if you're talking about an adult who has on some level experienced verbal abuse from other things, they can take it probably better, But you're asking a 14-year-old kid, a 15-year-old, your daughter, your 15-year-old son, to have to deal with that. And the things that come from the silence. I mean, Steve, we hear this every time we go to a game. It's not like what we're hearing is unique to our games. It's every game across every league, across every age group. The things that come out of the fans and out of the stands from parents,
disgraceful.
It's unbelievable is what I would say. And here would be my message right now, as we're this is something that I think is important to say right now, and I'm gonna say it. Shame on you. Shame on you. Here we are. We're talking about shining a light on the game of soccer, and I thoroughly enjoy that. Steve, I know you thoroughly enjoy that as well, but we go to these games. We go to these high school games. We go to MLS Next games. We go to professional games. We go to all of these games, and the rhetoric is the same from a U8 game all the way to the highest levels of professionalism in this country. And the referee, your son, your daughters out there are the ones who are managing these games. And the things that they have to tolerate over the course of a 80-minute, 60-minute, 90-minute match is just utterly disgraceful. And that is the reason why they are leaving in droves. It is not and to be fair, I mean, me and Steve, we've talked about this. If you enjoy the game, the part on the field where you're talking with players and interacting with players, that is the best part of the game. That is the part that I enjoy the most. I know that's the part that you probably enjoy the most too. Having the ability in those moments, hey, whether you get the right or wrong or not, you're having that interaction with players. You're part of the game. It is a really, really cool experience. There is nothing like it on this earth. I'm telling you that because I've been a part of it. It is awesome. It's exciting. And then you got some clown in the stands who's saying a bunch of crap that just doesn't make sense. And then a bunch of other fans get involved. You know what I mean? Like, it's disgraceful. And I had to say it now. I don't want to get it in later. You know, figure it out. If you can't be an adult at a game, don't go. Don't go. Just don't show up. Watch it on our network. We are free of charge. If we're there, just stay home and watch it on MSN. I mean, and keep your comments clean because we will call you out for that crap on our network as well. We do not tolerate that bull crap behavior. Figure it out. It is a game. In this country, no one has yet, as far as I know, there's been no wars won or lost in regards to the U14, MS, YSA, MUSL, whatever league you're in, league table.
It's true.
You know what I mean? If your son or daughter is good enough, one call, one way or another, is not going to make or break their career. It's not going to make or break their career. It's not. Hey, your kids get part of the game, injuries happen. Part of the game, players get red cards, players get yellow cards. It's part of the game. A learning experience. Learn from it, move on. Figure it out. Because this is unbelievably terrible. 70% of referees quit within the first 3 years. 70%.
Sounds like you need some apps, John.
What is today? Today's Thursday. That's right. Today's Thursday. And that means it is App Thursday. And great call there, Steve. I appreciate that. $6 apps right now at Granite City. They open at 11. $3 Granite City Pines, $6 Granite City Growlers all day today. Tomorrow is Fish Friday. Tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day. They've got St. Patrick's Day specials all day tomorrow. They have them all day right now as well. Corned beef. I mean, who doesn't want corned beef and mashed potatoes on St. Patrick's Day? Visit Granite City of Troy at the corner of I-75 and 16 Mile, or at the corner of 7 Mile in Haggerty in Northville. You're watching the Morning Overlap here on the Michigan Soccer Network. We'll be back.
Are you looking to grow here in 2023? Let the Michigan Soccer Network help you and your restaurant fill more seats. Help you and your law firm get new clients. Help you and your dental practice find more patients. Find more roofing customers for this upcoming summer. And to help you and your medical practice find new patients. To learn more or get started, visit MichiganSoccerNetwork.com. Don't just burn calories, torch those little suckers. Basecamp Fitness Troy opening up this March will help you get maximum results in half the time. Our intensity intervals of cardio and strength training will supercharge your calorie burn all in just 35 minutes. Make sure to lock in our founder's rate and claim your 2-week risk-free trial by scanning the QR code on your screen. Basecamp Fitness Troy, located at 443 East Big Beaver Road in Troy, Michigan. Granite City Food and Brewery has 2 Michigan locations in Troy and Northville. Serves made-from-scratch food, brews in-house beer, and even has brunch every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. To learn more about their daily specials or to book a private party, visit gcfb.com. Make sure you head over to Granite City in Northville at the corner of 7 Mile and Haggerty, or the Troy location at 16 Mile and I-75.
Thank you for stopping by the Michigan Soccer Network. To not miss out on any of the action, all you have to do is simply hit the subscribe button, and that way you're notified every time we bring new content or go live. Thanks for stopping by.
All right, ready? Okay. Wait, we're just saying action. Go. And action. Hi, we're the Tilly Sisters.
And check out, nope,
We're the Tilly Sisters.
check out our journey on the Michigan Soccer Network.
Okay, you weren't looking up. Hi, we're the Tilly Sisters.
And you can check out our journey on the Michigan Soccer Network.
Do it around the, all right. I'll just go like this. All right. Wait, what are we saying?
Basecamp Fitness of Troy. Get maximum results in half the time. Basecamp Fitness in Troy will open this month, offering 35-minute, high-intensity interval training HIIT workouts for the whole body. Lock in the founder's rate and scan the QR code on your screen now. Basecamp Fitness of Troy is located at 443 East Big Beaver Road. To inquire about a membership or amenities, call 586-416-1800 or visit basecampfitness.com.
Welcome you back here into our Premier Sports Center studio. It is 10:21 a.m. What a nice little bug we have there in the corner that we just added here into our broadcast. A little new thing here every single time we go live. A little new technology. We're working a lot of nice, really cool things here for upcoming live broadcasts that start here in just a few short weeks. So we're excited about that. But this morning we're talking about why are we losing referees? And before the break, I kind of went on a tangent and kind of gave you my peace of mind or a piece of my mind, so to speak. Steve, I know that it's different for you. You're still involved in the game as a referee. You're going you obviously at a much higher level than maybe a lot of the referees that may or may not be watching this at this point in time, or maybe even participate in the higher level games. It's different when you get to the higher level games. The type of abuse or outrage is different. What I mean by that is typically, and correct me if I'm wrong, the coaches at those levels, they have probably more experience in a lot of cases, right? They're coaching at a higher Division I school, so you'd like to think that they've gone through more training, more coaches courses and things like that. Interacting with their players and the parents and the fans. It's a different type of probably abuse than what you would get maybe from that coach who's maybe still a parent down at U13 or U12, right? It might be a different level of interaction that could draw a referee away from the game compared to that of a younger level coach or whatever.
Yeah, and I think that's really some of the bigger problem and the root of some of the problem is, a lot of these kids, like we talked earlier, you mentioned before the break, is start refereeing at somewhere between the age of 13 to 16, 17. Somewhere in that range is usually somewhere where a child will get involved with officiating. Well, because, those referees enter the system at such a young age, and because they're so new, right, we have to start them off at some of these really younger games, which is great. Put them in situations that should be able to be a little bit more manageable, especially in the younger 7v7, 8v8, where or the 6v6 even, where it's a solo referee, or if it's a referee with two assistant referees, but a much smaller field. But the issue then therein lies is that, unfortunately, a lot of the parents for kids that play in those younger ages are very new to the game.
For sure.
Some aren't, but there are X amount that are. And not only whether they're new to the game or not, their behavior has not evolved and changed. So the parents at some of the younger levels will get the most worked up than, even at the higher level games. And then it's now being taken out on this referee who's on this game, who's more than likely less than 4 years of experience, probably very brand new and green to the game. And so now they're receiving this abuse, and whether the fan is correct about the information they're trying to argue about or not, you've created a situation now where this younger referee is having to deal with this outside noise on top of remembering all the laws and rules that you've got to with each organization and level, on top of all the things you learned in your referee course about the mechanics and the game and how to manage the game, on top of the players on the field, which at the younger level you're not managing as much, but you still, on top of the coaches that are on the sidelines. And now you're asking a young teenager, a young child, to still have to now deal with an outside parent. And so it creates a real endless cycle of, well, now you've got young referee getting the most abuse, decides not to want to stay in it, and so now within a couple of years is gone. It's like bringing a new referee, and that behavior from the sideline hasn't changed.
Yeah.
And I think that's the tough part, because like to your point, when you're doing higher level games, the abuse doesn't stop, but the abuse changes, or the feedback that we get from referees changes from parents yelling things that are just completely out of left field or incorrect to, more player management, more coach management. And, I think there's something as well, even at some of the highest levels, there are certain coaches and managers who just yell because they're just trying to motivate their team. They'll look at you right down the line as an AR and say, like, I'm just trying to get my team, pumped up. I'm just yelling to yell. Or, there's coaches who know, like, if they get worked up enough to get a yellow card, it'll help their team because they'll just play better. I mean, there's so many different things. So at the highest levels, you're dealing with a far different beast. And it doesn't mean we stop dealing with parents. We deal with parents at the highest levels. Obviously there's a little bit more separation at, like a professional level, college level even sometimes. But even in that time, there are games where I've got fans, directly behind me, like just as close as you and I are here in this studio. And that doesn't stop. What we do as officials, though, is we have to, and I think the signers do a great job of trying to do this, is especially on those younger games, getting an experienced official on that crew, even if it's an older official, because you have to be able to have someone on that crew that has some bit of experience to help out, because too many of these younger officials are just getting thrown into games and have no support and have nobody there to step in when necessary, or to help make sure that certain things get called correctly. And listen, all the credit in the world to all the signers that are doing their best to do that, but let's cycle back. We don't have the numbers, so it's even more difficult. And your better referees aren't doing youth games. I mean, I will tell you right now, John, I did a youth game maybe 5-6 years ago. It was the last time I did like a true youth game, and it was a 6v6 game. It was like a U9, U10 game. I got called last second. Shrews called, right? Hey, ITC Park, 6:30 kickoff. It's like 4:30. Can you be there? Yeah, it's down the road from my house. I'll go there. Get to the field. I had to ask the coaches and both to come together and be like, you have to explain to me the rules of the build-out line. Because there's a build-out line now. And the last time I ever did a game like that, there was no such thing as this build-out line. Now, it's not, I've experienced it in the courses. I know the framework of it, but I pulled them together and I go, I don't mean to be rude, but like, I just need to know what exactly the build-out line rules are. And you just don't have enough experienced officials doing enough youth games that help. Like in that game, I had 2 young ARs, and one of them, I couldn't tell when he lifted the flag if he was pointing for like an out of bounds point or if he was lifting it up for offside. I really had no idea. And at halftime, I pulled him aside and I'm like, it's okay. Like, you don't need to make the call. You don't need to be like quick with your flag. Like, take in your mind, make up your mind, count to 3, and then make the decision. Like, I'd rather you do that every time and get it right than just make a call to make a call because he thought he had to like pop the flag super quick. And this young kid and his mom and dad were in the corner watching the game because they came up to me before the game. And, obviously they're like, hey, my kid, this is like first season. But we don't have enough of that, right? We don't have enough people helping, because if this poor kid didn't have a center official in the middle that knew what was going on, and this kid's just start waving his flag and the center official doesn't now communicate, what we would have had is we would have had parents left and right getting super upset over this kid who is out there learning, trying to figure it out. And so there has to be a more balance with that. And I know that like Les Signers and all the mentoring programs going on here in the state really tries to encourage that as much as possible. But the parent that's sitting on the sideline doesn't know until it's their kid what those kids are going through, that they're out there on an island. They're out there having to manage with 35, 40, 50-year-old parents on the sideline screaming and yelling at them because they saw a touch or they got an out-of-bounds call wrong. And it's disappointing, and that's part of what drives these young officials out of the game at such a young age.
You said a lot, and I don't know if you need to unpack all of it, but I think that because of the shortage across the board, I think that when it comes to mentorship, it becomes more difficult, especially as the more seasoned, the more experienced referees who, and this is where COVID I think played a huge factor in all this, right? Is the more experienced, more seasoned referees who walked away from the game in 2021. Well, that put a strain on the mentorship programs across this country, because now those players, or those referees for that matter, they don't have that experienced seasoned referee who maybe they're not in the game, but maybe they're there on the sidelines. Because I remember as a young referee, when I did my first game, there was someone that went to the game and was there like right after, or right there while I was doing my game, so I could go right after the game and talk to them, and they could give me some pointers. I know that was part of it. And again, I'm not saying that doesn't happen today, but I would imagine that there's a strain, right? I mean, right now it's hard to get coverage in games. So if you don't have the people to get into the game itself, it's hard to find the person that maybe can come and be a mentor. But that would be a huge thing. I think if you were to go and poll most companies, not referees, but most companies, the biggest thing that companies struggle with is training. If you were to poll, and I remember there's a study that was done here many, many years ago, we talked about this, and it came down to that employees were leaving companies because they felt that there was a lack of training. So when it comes to refereeing, it doesn't surprise me that, people are leaving. And it might be because they don't feel like they're on their own island, right? I mean, if you're 13 years old and they say, here you go do this 6v6 game, you have a life jacket, a life preserver, whatever you want to call it, but you don't have anyone there. There's no Coast Guard, going around the water to pick you up. And that's how these kids probably feel. So I get that. But make no mistake, this is not a referee training problem. This is not a referee, mentorship, lack of mentorship problem. It's part of a solution. But the core reason when referees were asked was the abuse. And in 2017, the National Association of Sports Officials, NASO, 39% that the parents caused the most problems with sportsmanship. Coaches were second at 29%. This is they don't mention here, lack of training, lack of mentorship. Because the reality is that if you threw my daughter into the shallow end of a pool, she doesn't need a life jacket. You throw her into the deep end, and you leave her there for a couple hours, yeah, she's going to need some help. U6, U7, U8 is the shallow end of soccer. It shouldn't be the deep end. These referees shouldn't need an extra body there in a U6 game. These kids are all out there just having fun. They're looking at butterflies. I mean, they're kicking dirt. They're enjoying the moment. These kids have no idea what they're doing. They don't need to have a mentor there to tell them the rules of the game at a U6 game. I'm not saying you shouldn't have mentorship. That's not what I'm saying. But they don't need a body there to protect them. They shouldn't have to have a body there to protect them.
Well, you're right. They shouldn't have to have one. But unfortunately, the culture and the sideline behavior that does exist has created this problem because if you were to break down where the parents become the worst at, I don't know how it, if you were to say from 18 to 15, 14 and to 10 and whatever, but some of the sidelines and games I've walked past at different fields before, especially the intelligent abuse that comes out of these, or the lack thereof of intelligent comments coming out of the sidelines, out of the mouths of these parents on the sidelines, is ridiculous. And then you start to have these kids that, don't, again, and to your point, these kids should be out there, and if the referees make mistakes, but they don't need to be hearing the abuse from the parents at these really young ages. And it starts the root of that problem of then those kids not continuing and driving officials out of the game.
Yeah, there's no question about that. It's a lot to unpack. You can see my personality has changed a smidge. We're talking about this. It angers me. It angers me. And it should anger anyone who's a fan of the game. It should. I mean, we can talk about how bad officiating is at the NFL level. We can talk about, okay, those referees are getting paid $200,000, $300,000 a year. They miss a call. It's different. There's billions of dollars on the line. Please tell me how many billions of dollars are on the line in a U9 matchup of the Butterflies versus the Bees on Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. $0. Except that $60 registration fee that you paid to have your kids play on that team. So anyways, I digress. But I don't have to, because coming this summer here to Michigan, let's talk about that. FC Barcelona Soccer Camp is an exclusive opportunity to learn the methodologies of the unique Barca style. FC Barcelona coaches will arrive across the United States to conduct the training sessions and teach you the techniques of one of the most successful soccer academies in the world. Coming this July 3rd through July 7th, Barca is coming to the Legacy Sports Center right here in Brighton, Michigan. Scan the QR code on your screen or register at camps.fcbarcelona.us. Use promo code FCBMSN and save $30 off registration. You're watching the Morning Overlap. We'll be back. Let's have a break.
Thank you for stopping by the Michigan Soccer Network. To not miss out on any of the action, all you have to do is simply hit the subscribe button, and that way you're notified every time we bring new content or go live. Thanks for stopping by.
Clubs love Ollie because it helps them manage their club and accelerate the development of their coaches and players. Every soccer club talks about their focus on development, but nobody actually measures it until now. We've developed the capability for every one of your teams to easily capture pro-level game stats in real time using a mobile phone. It's one thing at the end of the day to look up the results for your club, but how valuable would it be for directors to actually see how each team played? How well did a team possess the ball and control the game? How well did they create dangerous chances inside the box? How did your top players perform? And how is each coach improving from week to week? Ollie provides this powerful data through a club dashboard that shows club results and lets you drill down into any game or player. Ollie also includes team and club management that lets you communicate instantly with coaches, parents, and players, and lets directors see every club event so they can easily coordinate visits to matches and training sessions. It's got everything you need in one simple app. Reach out to us to get your club started today.
We're going to try and win this thing. We're going to go for it, right? You're watching your team, you're watching them play, you're watching them practice. Is this a team you thought at the beginning of the year was going to be there at the end?
Yes. And honestly, I told my team this, and I told a lot of people this. It wasn't unexpected. I think we have a top program. I was actually pretty disappointed that we hadn't won one up until now. I think we've had some great years before, 2016, 2017, 18, even 21, 19. I mean, where things just didn't click. They didn't work out for us at the end of the season, where we had great seasons and didn't work out. But this year, everything came together, and to be honest, it wasn't unexpected.
Okay. No, and that's good. I mean, you think about it. You said there's lots of times you watch, and we had Todd Hugh here a few weeks ago, and there was a year that his team did not make it all the way to a state final, and that was the team that he said was the better team that he thought was going to go. And then when they won it, and maybe not been the better team he had, but that's sometimes how it shakes out.
Join Evolution Soccer Training for Finishing Fridays. Every Friday from 7 to 8 p.m., players will receive specialized training dedicated to enhancing your ability to score goals. Visit evolutionperformancetraining.com and use promo code MSN10 to get 10% off your session today.
So we welcome you back here into our Premier Sports Center studio. It's 10:39 here on this Thursday morning. Tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day. Steve, you going to be celebrating?
No. Plenty of work to do and things around the house. So, no, will not be partaking. I may take in a green beer at some point, but lot to do and then busy weekend. So
fair enough.
Got to head to a referee clinic, actually. Down in Indianapolis. So
well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, so that's a no. You will not be celebrating St. Patrick's Day.
May get some corned beef.
Being that I'm like 11.8% Irish, will be celebrating St. Patrick's Day tomorrow. I'm not sure what level. It'll start with a morning physical with my doctor.
It's a good start. I definitely like to partake in the corned beef. Harder on St. Patrick's Day, but not really my thing. I'll enjoy the day. Like I said, maybe taking a green beer here or there, but that's about it.
Well, no, that's fair. It's all, don't worry about that. It's all good. So let's continue this conversation, shall we? As I said, alluded to prior to the break, a little frustrated by this, and
I think it's okay to be frustrated, though. I think this is an issue that is something that, again, this is not just a soccer officiating issue.
It is not.
It is an officiating problem that exists amongst all sports. I mean, the viral videos that you see with referees being attacked or verbal abuse across all sports is absolutely unacceptable. So I think it is completely warranted to feel the way you do and to have that level of passion for it, because without officials in any sport, the game or the match does not happen.
Yeah.
You don't have officials there, the games do not happen. So, it is something worth getting passionate about, because for your kids to enjoy the things they like to do, the officials are an integral part of that.
They are. And I think that our part of this conversation now has to, I think there's two parts to this. Why are they leaving? We know why they're leaving. All right. Before I even announced this as a topic, we all knew why they were leaving. Okay, unless you're living, we have a phone call coming in, by the way, so I don't know who that might be, but we'll go ahead and pick it up. You are live and on the air right now. Oh, hang on. Hello and welcome to MSN.
Hi.
Hello, who is this?
This is
Mark. Mark, man, welcome to the show. You're live right now on the morning overlap. Hopefully, you meant to do that.
I'm a referee from the Grand Rapids area, and I was listening into the show today and decided to call in for a bit on it. So, I was listening into it, and I agree with everything you guys have been saying, and even though I've been officiating soccer for like a few years now, I've definitely experienced it at all levels, in high school, college games, and so it's absolutely unacceptable for some of the stuff that I've seen for abuse towards younger officials and stuff. So that's just my part of my case.
Well, Mark, and you said you're from the Grand Rapids area?
Yep.
So, I don't think that there's, certain parts of the country have unique, I think there's certain unique situations, but this problem is not a unique problem in Grand Rapids. It's everywhere. What, out of curiosity, what levels do you as a referee feel like you get it the worst?
I experience it at all levels of it. Not so much really at like certain MLS Next games or NCL games, but like I've experienced it more so in like Michigan Premier or like the local grassroots or recreational, which is the Grand Valley Soccer Association. So, I've experienced it all age levels, but more so like in the younger years.
Okay.
Age groups. So.
Yeah, Mark, and it's an issue that does cover all levels, and I think from a fellow referee, we experience it from different points. How do you as a referee deal when you are dealing with some of those grassroots? What approach do you try to take when you do get some of those maybe unruly fans, or do you? My best thing is always I try to deal with the coach, but maybe what do you try to deal with, or how to handle some of those tight situations?
So for me, it depends on like what I'm doing in the game. If I'm AR or if I'm the center, right? So it kind of depends on that. But like if I'm the center, I will mention something to the coaches, and especially if it gets really bad, right? And so like I try and manage it that way and ask like, hey, you need to talk to your parents, right? And let them know, like, let us do our job, right? And if you have an issue with something, that's one thing, but with your parents, that they shouldn't be getting involved. Like, I understand their frustration, but
No, and I think that's a great point. I think it's one of those things that if us as referees, we have to draw a line early in the sand. And thanks for calling in. We really appreciate you chiming in on the conversation. We really have to try to set that line and set that tone early, and that starts from maybe the first outburst that can happen in a match. That's maybe a time to make a comment or just to remind the coach, because if we can put out those small little fires early in a match, it will prevent the progressing of those parents to hopefully engage in more conversation. Because what happens is when we let those parents go and go and go and go, and the comments keep going, what ends up happening is more parents around them get involved, and then what happens is that affects the play on the field, and then the kids start feeling that energy, and now frustration happens on the field. So it's one of those things that if we can nip it early and start to put out some of those small fires, hopefully we can keep that temperature of the game down and get through the rest of the match.
Yeah, and again, Mark, thank you very much for hopping on. We do appreciate it. Our second caller in the history of the program, so we do, and it's crazy because it tends to be during our referee conversations that we get our callers, which is even better. So, but before Mark called in, we were talking. Okay, what's the solution to this, right? And I think being proactive as a referee is great. I think walking up to, a coach or coaches, prior to a game and saying, hey, let's not do this today, right? Let's be better. The leagues, I think the leagues, their responsibility is same thing. They have to be proactive with coaches. They have to hold coaches accountable when they act up. I think, I don't think that it comes down to a referee having to give a red card to a coach for a coach to not be at a game. If they are, if it's one of those systemic things that this coach continuing to do every single time they're out on a pitch. But to be fair, the league's not responsible for this is the same way that I feel that they should be. It is 100 million% on parents. And here's where I say they need to do a better job. Every team has that fan, that parent that just screams at everything. It screams at everything, no matter what it is, good or bad. They also scream at other parents, other players. We all see it. We need more parents in the stand instead of saying and just sitting there and doing nothing. They need to go and tap that parent on the shoulder and say, hey, relax, And yes, I'm sure there are going to be moments where that happens, where there's going to be some more blowups that are going to happen. But if five parents stand behind that one parent and say stop, if we all as a team, as a collective soccer community, start to take ownership and accountability and responsibility for conduct on the sidelines, these problems will come to an end. They'll be few and far between. We need more parents to have calmer and cooler heads on the sidelines. If we did that, the other stuff would go away. It would just I wouldn't say disappear completely, But my goodness, do not leave it up to the league to post a sign saying, good behavior, parents. Read this yard sign that we created. No, you need it to on the sidelines. If a parent is being a knucklehead in front of you, say, cut it out. And if they give you crap, I guess I know that we're afraid of confrontation for some reason. It's weird. It's like we're afraid to confront people when we're seeing things that are bad that are happening in front of us. But what the first thing we do is we grab our cell phones and we start recording it. That's the first thing that we do. We no longer are like, hey, that guy's getting hurt. He's getting beat up. Let's go stop it. No, we take out our phone, we record it, and then post it on social media so we can get our 15 minutes of, or in this case, 30 seconds of fame with 2 million views. You want to solve this problem, you got to handle it right there at the field. You've got to be a strong parent group. And maybe it comes down to, as a coach, you need to go up to all your parents and say, who here is going to be our sideline warrior? Which 5 of you are our sideline warriors? Because one of our parents gets out of hand, the 5 of you are going to walk over there. You're not going to be physical about it. You're just going to say, hey, knock it out. Knock it off. That's what needs to happen. That solves 85% of this right now, today, not tomorrow. It solves it right now. And if that happens, our referees out there, our players, our coaches will all enjoy the game back more. Sorry, I got another soapbox.
It's okay. No, you're right, though. I think that the self-policing is one of those things, and the self-accountability is something that has to step up. And I think there are clubs out there and DOCs of clubs and coaches within certain clubs that do a good job of trying to, make that message clear to their fans that I'm the one talking to referees, you guys are not, and trying to establish those. But it's not, on the league, and to some point it's not on the club themselves to be responsible for these individual parents. However, I think there are some clubs out there doing a really good job of trying to set a standard across all their teams to say this is our club is not going to behave like this. And it's good to, we've had conversation with some DOCs across in the last couple months across various clubs who've expressed to us how much they try to make sure that their parents have that understanding. Of course, they can't control it all, but they really try to make that well known because they don't want to be a club that's associated with, oh, your club, they have the worst parents, or your club, that type of thing. And that's something that we don't want to have in our game. And it really does come back down to the self-policing, because the easiest fix to fix the parent problem is to not be a problem as a parent.
It sounds so simple, doesn't it? And I think it's important to acknowledge the elephant in the room. We know that you're investing time, money, resource. What we know that. We know that. I mean, I just like all of us, we pay our mortgages and our rents and our car payment. We know that. We know that this is a thing, right? And I know that in the world that we live in today, that we treat anyone within that service role, industry role, whatever you want to call it, we don't treat them the best. We just don't. You walk into restaurants, you see servers getting treated like crap. You see it all across the board. As a society, we have a problem with being respectful to people who are doing a job on your behalf. We know that, right? I mean, this isn't like some surprise, shocking thing. We do not do well with it. And we are all guilty at times of being or mistreating someone who is doing you a service. You're not paying the referee directly. Right? Look what's happening with police departments across this country. Everyone's attacking our officers, and they're saying, "Well, because we pay you, we can treat you this way. You're our servant." It's not the right mentality. It just isn't. We can be better human beings, and that again, it's just being a better human. But we understand that there's investment to this. We know that you're paying money for a ticket to a game. You're paying for season tickets, so you feel like you can go out there and just berate everybody because you invested money and your time. It doesn't give you a free pass. Just because you're paying $4,000 a year to club ever, whatever, doesn't mean you get to treat people like crap. It doesn't. So moms and dads, grandmas and grandpas, aunts and uncles, players and coaches, you need to find a way when you walk through those gates, you get out of your car, react. Get yourself ready for the game, just like you're asking your son or daughter to do. Right? There's a process. You know, put your shin guards on, pull your socks up, lace up your cleats. Right? You can't go out there without your cleats laced up. You can't go out there without your shin guards. You can't play. You're a goalkeeper. You need your goalkeeper gloves. Right? If your player, son or daughter, has asthma, they have to have their inhaler. Right? They got to have those things in order to go out there and practice and play and be productive on the field. Moms and dads, when you're getting ready to exit that vehicle, get yourselves mentally ready for the game. Expect the unexpected. Expect that your son or daughter is going to get hit by another player on a slide tackle. And how are you going to react to that? Prepare yourself. And how are you going to react? Because everybody is watching. Everybody has a camera phone. Everybody's watching. And nowadays, you could lose your job for being a dumbass on a sideline. We're seeing it all the time. We're seeing it in grocery stores. We're seeing it in parks. We're seeing it everywhere. Do your job. And be a better role model to your sons and daughters. As we head to our final break here. I know it's 10:55. We're going to have one more break. Good news here next week. We'll go to 2 hours next week. So we're going to get 2 hours of a 2-hour daily dose. Or every other day daily dose of the Morning Overlap. From here, Steve and John. But before we head to break here, let's talk about Georgia's Soccer Supply. Been around since 1978. Their name and reputation, a leading retailer in the market for over 40 years. I went there as a kid, buy my goalkeeper gloves, my cleats. I bought my referee kits from there as well, my whistles, my coaching supplies I bought there as well. Scan the QR code, visit georgiasoccer.com or call 248-528-2948 and save 10% off your order by saying MSN 10. You're watching the Morning Overlap here on the Michigan Soccer Network. We'll be back on their side of the break.
Our mission is to help players take their game to the next level and reach their potential. We help players develop fundamental technical skills such as ball control in tight spaces, dribbling at speed and changing direction, using a variety of 1v1 skills, receiving and finishing from different situations such as volleys, headers, one touch, and off the dribble, with and without pressure. In addition, we help players increase their speed of play, dominate with their off-the-ball movement, awareness of space, defenders, and teammates. We offer a variety of services such as one-on-ones, small groups, as well as large groups and team sessions. We have an experienced coaching staff that is professional, friendly, patient, while still holding players to high standards and holding them accountable. Over the past 3 years, we've built one of the best soccer-specific training facilities in the country. We've also developed one of the most detail-oriented training programs to help out players. No matter what level you're at as a player, I'm confident we can help you get better. For more information, visit our website, evolutionperformancetraining.com, or text or call 248-818-3943.
Now Worrell has a good cutback from him. He'll fire one, and that's going to go in!
Hey, give me some of it. Okay, all right, I'm going. The Journey, the Tilton Girls, take one.
My favorite moments ever as a father was the moment she made the A-team.
They would always push me and my friends as well.
Their authenticity and integrity that they were able to do everything with.
I still struggle with a little bit, just like the confidence, like knowing that I'm in a different environment.
I could not be more proud of you, Justice, and of you, Remini.
It's gonna be a roast here.
No, it's not a roast.
Ocean, and it was hard. Don't tell anybody that.
And action.
I'm a husband. I'm a father.
I'm a sister.
I'm a son. I'm a brother.
I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. I'm a referee.
I'm a referee.
I am a referee.
I'm a referee.
to do it before we go out on the weekend.
We do.
We do it every week.
Whether we need to or not. We did it today.
It was really dirty.
My parents do it every day.
Hey, kiddo!
Do it every day with the Unlimited Club only at Jack's Car Wash. Protect your car from the hot summer sun, dust, dirt, and contaminants all summer long with the Jack's Unlimited Club.
Join today, starting at just $24.99 a month.
Ollie Live Sports, the official live game stat provider for MSN. The youth sports culture is toxic because we only measure success by wins and losses. 70% of kids quit playing by the age of 13. Ollie Sports is changing the youth sports experience with meaningful positive data for every player in every game. Scan the QR code or head to the Apple or Google Play Store and download the app for free.
We welcome you back here in our Premier Sports Center studio. It is 11 o'clock in the morning. We are slightly behind because yours truly went off on a tangent and a soapbox here throughout this show because I have so much passion for this game that, you know, when I see things that are hurting it, I feel like it's my obligation, my responsibility to speak up about it. And we talk about this a lot during our broadcasts. It's not like we don't talk about this. We do. I mean, Steve and I have a unique background when it comes to the soccer game and calling a live game now. And that's because, you know, we have the experience. I'm a referee, player, college player, me as a high school head coach, varsity level, JV coach, and a player and a referee. We bring different these experience levels. We can say, you know, I've been on the field during a state final. I know what the crowd is like. I know what that feeling is. I've been on a field where you can feel the intensity of the match in your chest as how this game is going. You can feel it. It is a living, breathing thing that it's encompassing your entire aura throughout that entire game. I mean, there's no way to explain it other than that. I mean, and honestly, a lot of those types of games have come at games that are not like the highest level you've ever been at. I mean, they come from like I mean, the game that I remember the most that I could just like feel like every tackle was important was a high school game. It was a high school game. And the game was like a, you know, OAA white mid-season matchup, but it was two rivalries who were playing very good soccer. And every time two players came together, it was a chance it could be a bad foul. And the crowd was crazy. It was not like, and I've refereed at the highest levels here. I've refereed the Michigan Bucks back in the day and some college level games. So I've experienced that. And I'm sure, Steve, you allude to, you know, some things that you've gone through as a referee where you can those moments, and they probably come at the higher levels as well. But, you know, I have passion for this game, and when I see things that are hurting it, you know, and I see these videos of parents storming the field, you know, and yelling and throwing things at officials, and you wonder why. You're like, well, why don't we have officials? Well, because you're throwing stuff at them, because you're yelling at them. I mean, these young kids, sons and daughters, and you know, and brothers and sisters, right? And if we take that part about it for a second and say they're adults, okay? Well, why are we yelling at adults? I mean, like, I have yet to meet an official who walks up to a field that cares enough, or who doesn't care, and just like that, who has no idea what these two teams are fighting for, and has any idea that what the calls that they're going to make, like they don't come into it predetermined to like, oh, we want that team to win. That doesn't exist. They're just human beings. They make mistakes, you know? I mean, I think the studies have shown that the average referee has to make, a couple hundred decisions a game? Foul, no foul, in or out. You know, all these things, these decisions that have no bearing on the outcome of a game. And they're judged on too. They get 95% of them correct. I think they did a study, like 98% of the EPL calls are correct. There's like 0.2% that are just, okay, they're wrong. They got them wrong. So, yeah. Steve, final point.
I think don't feel bad that you've gone off on this because, like I said, I think it's important. I think the most important thing is that we create a better and less toxic environment for the referees to grow, for the players to grow, because these things also start to have a negative effect as when you have parents yelling at the referees and then parents yelling at the kids as well. We've created this toxic environment where the kids or players just don't want to stay involved in the game anymore because there's a burnout, and those burnouts come from various factors, and one of those is that environment that's been created on the field. There's kids who don't want to be out there anymore because their parent is the one that's constantly yelling at the referees. Has nothing to do with the performance of the team or whatever, so just creating a better environment, again, will allow for the game to grow, and in the long term, create better environment for kids across this country, in games everywhere, because we have more officials getting involved in the game. So the more we can take self-responsibility and create do more personal and parent policing of those, bad behavior parents on the sideline, the better we will be overall in the game, and creating better environment for our kids to grow and enjoy the game.
I want to leave you today with this. Who are you yelling at? So this study was done here back in 2021, 2022. 39% of referees are new. So when you're yelling at a referee on the field, there's a chance, 1 in 4 chance? Oh, sorry, that was not right. It's a 40% chance, 4 out of 10, that you are yelling at a new referee. 60%, so 6 out of 10, are 17 or younger. 31% of referees are 17 or younger and are brand new. So 3 out of 10. 20% of referees are 40 or older. So basically just around 3 out of 10. 75% are male. And 26% are female. So who are you yelling at? You're yelling at someone who, has a mom and dad, sons or daughters, right? That's who you're yelling at. And we could all do better. We could all do better. That's all I'm going to say. We could all do better. And if we just focused on being better people at these games, taking a deep breath. I'm not telling you what to do, because I know one time I said that someone take a deep breath. Don't tell me what to do. I'm not going to do that. Take a deep breath, guys. Everyone just take a deep, and just, hey, what are we playing for here? What are we playing for here? I have yet, in all my years, we had Eric Pogue here on the broadcast. We're going to have a number of other college coaches here. You are not judged by one moment, one game. It is a body of work. It is talking with club coaches. It's talking with high school coaches. It's talking with trainers. It's seeing your full body of work that gets you to where the next level that player might want to go. So if you're going to be sitting there yelling at a referee over one game with your son or daughter, with a potential scout in the stands, they don't look and just judge you based off of one game. We heard it specifically from Eric Pogue here, a Division I men's head soccer coach for the Horizon League. We heard it from him. It's not one event. It's not one moment. It's a body of work. So, and to be fair, he's also looking at you. He's looking to see what you're doing in relation to that game, because he does not want the problem of all of that at his college. So let's all do better. So that'll wrap it up here on this Thursday, March the 16th. Here on the Morning Overlap. Have a good show. I thought that was a good topic, Steve. Next week we move to 2 hours. Next week we'll start talking high school soccer. High school soccer trials got underway this week. They started Monday. A lot of team selections have taken place. We've got a lot of players. Captains been selected. A lot of teams had a chance to stop by Athens High School yesterday, take a look at what they were going on as far as tryouts. But high school girls soccer season getting underway here next week. First game starting on the 22nd. We'll start bringing that coverage to you here starting April the 4th. Will be our first matchup that we cover. We'll release our full schedule here coming soon for the high school season. But that'll wrap up today's Overlap. We appreciate you stopping by. Make sure that you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Follow, like us, share us. Don't forget, you can win the Windermere right now. We're giving away a one-night stay. Opening weekend, May the 12th. Must be 18 to enter. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on all social media. Fill out the form on our website at themichigansoccernetwork.com. It's right there on the homepage. You can't miss it. You'll have a chance to win a one-night stay. The Windermere Hotel, the historic Windermere Hotel on Mackinac Island. But that'll do it here for us on the Morning Overlap. Steve Best, John Turner. That'll do it. See you next time on Michigan Soccer Network.
Bye.